Not working. Hi, I'm Jack Finn. How you doing? Here, let me set you up here on the dashboard, a good seat where you can listen to me. Okay? Here you go. There you go. Set you up right over here next to the windshield. Is that all right? You comfortable up there now? Okay. Don't fall. Don't fall. Okay. We don't want to get sued here. Okay. I'm Jack Finn. This is the second in a series about crocodile brain technology. Now, the crocodile brain is that part of your mind, the back of your neck, known as the medulla oblongata, or the brainstem, and it drives all human behavior. Now, I'm sure you remember Colonel Sanders in a famous movie talking about the medulla oblongata. It wasn't just comedy, it's real. The medulla actually drives your behavior. I'm just going to move your seat here a little bit. Please don't leave the seat or put your hands outside the ride while the ride is in motion. Just sit there and you'll be okay. Now, all right. So in that movie, Adam Sandler played brilliantly as the water boy. He's being told by Colonel Sanders, the psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever he is, that the medulla, the crocodile brain, runs human behavior. Well, turns out Colonel Sanders can do more than fried chicken. He got it right. The medulla is the center of all human behavior, desires, dreams, everything. It runs the show. It makes you do whatever you're going to do. Then your mind comes up with a backstory to fill in the gaps and make it seem reasonable, to make it seem rational. Okay? All right. This is where David Snyder comes in. Now, David Snyder is a practitioner of an art known as neuro-linguistic programming. Kind of a long, funny name for something I call crocodile technology. Back of your mind is also known as the crocodile brain. Okay? It's also known by the Russians as a Paleolithic brain. Okay? When they train their Olympic athletes to win, that's the part they concentrate on. Not this part, this part. And they're very successful. Okay? They have a track record of being very successful. Okay? All right. Now, NLP is something that David Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R, is a practitioner of, and he is very good at it. You'll see his videos if you go looking. He's very good at it, okay? Everything that I have today, including this car that I'm sitting in, which is a nice car for me, I got from listening to David Snyder, okay? I recommend him highly. If you never watch another video of mine, you should start looking at his, because he really knows what he's talking about. He's got crocodile brain technology down. He knows what it'll do. He knows how wonderful a thing it is. And he's licensed to do all that. I'm not. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. Okay? When I discovered NLP, I discovered that every part of my body was actually part of my brain. Basically. That all your nerve endings, right down to your toes and to your ends of your fingers, are part of your mind. And anything you do with your hands and your body and your voice and any part of your body is actually part of your mind, because you remember you did it. Okay? As in my last video, do what you did, get what you got, it says basically, your body says basically, your brainstem says basically, your crocodile brain says, hey, whatever you've done up to this point got you here alive. So it must be okay. Right? All right? That's the basic premise. That whatever you've done up to this point got you here alive. So if you do what you did, which is all your past behavior up to this minute, this instant, means you get what you got, which is survival. You keep breathing. Okay? Your crocodile mind thinks, your medulla thinks, your brainstem thinks, hey, all that past behavior must be successful, because, hey, it got you here alive, didn't it? What the Paleolithic brain, the brainstem, the medulla, doesn't take into account is the fact that you're miserable because the circumstances of all that past bad behavior are making you miserable. You're surviving, but it's problematic just how much longer you'll survive doing those things. You may not make it very much longer. So it's a good idea to start performing the good habits that most other successful people do. Things like bathing every day and drinking plenty of water and getting a good night's sleep, not eating too much, just little basic things like that, you know? Basic common sense things that most successful people do. But there are other successful things they do that you may not have heard of. For one thing, here's one you've never heard of before in your life, probably. Successful people almost never go around the house nude unless they're built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know? Unless they're built like the most beautiful supermodel on earth. Okay? Ivana Trump, she can go around the house nude, but I bet she doesn't do it, and I'll tell you why. Because when you see yourself without clothes, it makes you feel more like an animal, less like a human. So these days, unless I'm taking a shower, I'm not nude. But sooner or later, I'm going to see myself in the mirror, and it can destroy your self-image. Destroy it. Okay? Unless you're really buff, you look good, then even the short periods where you look in the mirror makes you question what you are, who you are, how much better you could look. It's one of the reasons people get anorexic, in my opinion, as a layman. Okay? All right. All that aside, okay, that's just one of the behaviors you should not engage in. You shouldn't go nude around the house. You should never leave your bed unmade. Never. Because your Paleolithic brain, your crocodile brain, thinks, hey, the bed's unmade. Sure looks bad, but hey, it's too much trouble. It's only me. Wow. If you think it's only you, then you don't think you're worth much. So make up the bed and then reach back and pet that little animal back there, that medulla, that crocodile, and tell it, hey, this is great. You made the bed. It looks good. You're nice and clothed. Even better if you're dressed in a suit walking around the house. My grandfather always did that. And in his day and age, he was very successful because he always saw himself in a suit. It made him look and feel better. Of course, he had a drinking problem, but that's another story. Okay. Anyway, crocodile brain technology says that if you do what you did, you get what you got. Okay? So what you have to convince this little animal back here of is that good behaviors are desirable. When you do something that normal people do that you usually don't, and you pet that little animal back there and you say, hey, you did great, that's wonderful, you made the bed, you've been walking around the house with your clothes on, you picked up the house and it looks good, you're worth more than you have been in the past. You've changed. You've become better. That's what crocodile brain technology does. It takes a little crocodile in the back of your mind, pets it, and tells it how wonderful what you're doing is. All these good things, all these good behaviors are. And your crocodile mind wants to make you do it again. And so it does. Next time, you do it much easier. If you do something good like I did today, if you do something great like I did today for myself, I'm not going to say what that was, but if I perform some good habit, if I start doing something that I should continue doing, I reward that little animal with food. Now, food rewards are classically the best way to reward any small animal. They like it, they enjoy it, they want it to continue, so they continue those behaviors. They're trying their best to make sure that the behavior they engaged in results in food. Okay? The best food you can get. The best food you can get yourself is good for rewarding good behavior. Because remember, you're dealing with a little animal back here. Your medulla is the crocodile brain, literally. The Paleolithic brain, very old. Now, we've got a semi trying to get around me here. If it don't hit me, I guess the video will continue. Okay? Anyway, that's another story. Okay, now, The question is, how do you get to the point where you develop so many good behaviors that it has a profound impact on your life? Well, you have to make a list. You make a list, it's something real that you've made. You've actually written something down on paper. Here's a list of good behaviors. And you actually start doing them. And every time you do one, even if you just give yourself a bite of something delicious that you like, you should give yourself that bite. Because when you do that, when you perform that good behavior, that new behavior, you dress up, just walking around the house. You've cleaned the house and it looks good to you. You see all of it and it looks nice. And the bed's made and the dishes are done. And you reach back there and you tell your medulla, your crocodile brain, hey, you did great today. You did wonderful today. I love you for what you did here today. It's wonderful what you did. Okay? And then you feed it steak. Now, the sooner you feed it steak or chocolate ice cream or whatever, the sooner you reward it after you perform the behavior, the more profound, the more repeatable that behavior will be. You have to remember in this part of your mind that the reward follows shortly after the behavior. It's classically the way to change your mind. Literally, to atomically change the inside of your Paleolithic brain, your crocodile brain, your medulla oblongata. Thank you, Colonel Sanders. I hope the water boy don't tackle you again. That'd look kind of painful. Okay, now, moving right along. Once you get this list down, you've got your list down there, and you've got your desired behaviors down there, and you start following that list, you have to build on that. You have to build on it quickly, because very quickly, when you get into NLP and you get into this reward system, you're going to discover your life's going to begin to gallop along. Okay? Now, there's something you should know about changing your life. People around you, normal people that you're around, the people you're around now, won't like what they see because it means competition for them. And their crocodile brains, in the back of their minds, are going to say, hey, yo, why are you making your bed up every day? And you stop using drugs. And wow, you stop smoking. Wow, who do you think you are? Maybe you move out of the hood. Okay? And one day on the train, you see one of your old friends from the hood, and they ask you, why did you move out of there? Well, I had to because of my job. Don't tell them you're moving away from them. That's not good politics, because crabs in a bucket always drag down other crabs that try to climb out. That is a rule of nature. That's just the way it is. You want to be the crab that makes it out, no matter what kind of strategy you have to use to get out. Okay? You got to get out of that bucket. So you got to get away from people who are going to try to talk you down, try to tell you this is not you. They're going to try to tell you you shouldn't be doing these things because after all, it's only you. But, it brings up a question. Who are you? Who are you really? Are you this person that's been losing your whole life? Should you continue to lose just so your friends won't get insulted? Really? Really? Come on, think about it. You really want to live your life according to somebody else's expectations when their expectations are averagely or below average for you? Do you really? Huh? I don't. I was down in Florida. I was living in my aunt's house, and this is a wonderful woman. I'm talking about this woman is a saint. But I kind of noticed my health was going downhill, and I'm working every day. I'm doing all right, going to church, all these things. But somehow I just wasn't getting past the point of being comfortable. I knew that I had to break out of that mold and get back out there in the trenches. I knew I had to get back out here in the world and had to get to a place where I had more opportunity, where there were more people that would recognize the things I was doing. In North Florida, my aunt was one of the few people who recognized my potential. Most of the other people around there, a lot of the other people around there, did not. Now, the church I went to was full of very intelligent, decent, wonderful people. But there's all kinds of people that I saw every day and worked with every day that did not recognize that their potential and mine was far more than they were getting from themselves. So here in Virginia, the average expectation of the average person is much higher than it was where I was. Those are great people, but they have been beat down their whole lives, and they think, you know, one losing story influences another. They're great people, but they just don't understand that there are forces holding them down so they can't get up. Okay? Artificial forces, corporate forces, okay? Sometimes governments, all right? But that's another story, okay. But the thing was, I had to move along. I had to move to something else. I had to get back to walking every day. I used to walk 8 miles a day. Today I walk 6, okay? But for a while I didn't walk any, and my health was starting to suffer. So I knew I had to move away from where I was. I had to move out of the situation I was in because it was too comfortable. And when I got here to Virginia, right away, I went to work making more money than I had in Florida. They just don't want to pay as much down there because they don't recognize that if you reward people for something they do that's positive and good, you get a better result. They do even more next time. Somehow that just escapes them, okay? They can't understand it. They don't know about crocodile brain technology. They don't care to learn. Okay, I understand. That's fine. May they do well, okay? You've made your list. You're starting to live up to the list. You're starting to follow those behaviors. Now, after a while, you're going to notice that you need to step out of the situation you're in. Like I said, you're one of the crabs that are going to make it out of the bucket before the boiling water comes, okay? All right. So, what do you do after that? Well, that's the next video because it covers a wide range of behaviors. In the meantime, I want you to go straight from this video to David Snyder's video, NLP. David Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R, and see what he's got to say. Okay? Hey, good luck in your efforts at self-improvement. Okay? All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.